Let's talk refrigeration press fittings for the ACR market. We have 3 competing brands as of 2022 right now. We have RLS, which is our original, introduced in 2015. We have Maxi Pro that was introduced a short while later, I believe 2018, that is now marketed under Sporlands Zoomlock Max brand name after the relationship with RLS fell through. And later in 2022 or this year, Mueller announced and introduced their press system that's hitting the distributors now. It was really introduced in 2021, but I think because of supply chain, you didn't actually see them in the supply houses until a few weeks ago into February of 2022. What we notice right off the bat is the prep is all the same. We still need to ream, we still need to sand, and we still need to use a depth finder. All 3 brands, everything's the same. What's different about it is the options for tools and platform. Mueller's main drawback, which I've noticed right away, is the weight of this jaw is enormous. If you're working overhead, this is going to be a problem. I think because it's a double O-ring design and it uses hard ACR copper, they need a tremendous amount of force to make this fitting, and now we have extremely heavy jaws. The Maxi Pro or Zoomlock Max, they use the traditional or water pipe fittings, and that's going to be a detractor there. I don't know how reliable, or I won't make a statement towards reliability because it's only been around 2 years. We have used it. We've had no reported leaks, but again, this design's only been around since 2019. I mean, it's got a lighter weight jaw. They do have jaws compatible with the 19 kilonewton clocky tool and the M12 platform. So you have more jaw available if you want something lighter. The RLS originally came with a 15 kilonewton tool. Now it's to a 19 kilonewton tool as it's kitted. They have jaws that are rigid or Milwaukee compatible. They will be heavier, and I imagine the jaws that are coming for the larger sizes will be much heavier. That's to be expected, but for guys in the residential application like commercial, this tool is extremely lightweight. I love it. Our crews love it. We also have thousands of these fittings over in service. No issues. So we really don't have the longevity testing for this. I'm sure the manufacturer has tested it with all 3 of these brands. We can go out there and check. I'll let their marketing guys decide which testing was the best. The real issue I'm going to see between these right away is the Maxi Pro uses the same jaw as the Viega. Now, I love compatibility, but the way these fittings are really marked, they're not very well marked in a sense that a technician can accidentally grab a water pipe fitting or a refrigeration fitting and use them interchangeably. So this Viega water pipe fitting is for 3/4 inch water, and this is a 7/8 refrigeration fitting. They marry up. They're the exact same design. It's just the O-ring that's different. And I could really see that we're going to have an accident at some point. Someone's going to do 200 of the wrong fittings or just a few, and for the contractor, it's going to lay out disaster because in water applications, you can't have any lead. So they have to be certified lead-free fittings. For refrigeration, you can still have lead in the copper. That's not a problem. So I don't know how much lead the Connex Behringer, but it's not labeled lead-free. So if someone were to accidentally press these in a residential or commercial potable water application, you could easily see a lawsuit happen. God forbid someone gets lead poisoning or lead. Again, I'm not a plumber, so I don't know how much lead would be in this fitting, but I could really see this, and the way these are poorly marked, or so, there's no green or white, or come on guys, figure something out that you could make sure that this is clear as day for refrigeration applications. Now I know the Viega fittings are going to be marked with a little dot. They did a much better job dotting them, but if someone grabs this, we can have a problem. This is our Mueller ACR fitting. It's got the blue label. It's unmistakable that it's what the application is going to be for because the water pipe fittings don't fit on it. It's got a double O-ring design. And So we don't know against the longevity of it, but the double O-ring is a smart idea as well, because whenever you have incised marks or something like that, if you missed it, now you have a second layer of protection. What we have here on the original RLS design is, again, this is also a double seal design, because we not only have the O-ring, but the copper itself is being used as a sealing element, because this is a softer copper, or so we can crush it much easier, and we can use the copper as a seal itself. It's making a mechanical connection there, something that using regular ACR and crushing that isn't doing. So that's very cool. Oh, and again, this is going to excel here in the commercial applications real quickly once RLS introduces its larger sizes. Think of that, this is like where the industry is going. Just in general, press is where our industry is going to go, at least in my opinion. I don't think we're going to be brazing in 10 years. And the reason is we're going to have a hard time finding an insurance company willing to underwrite our businesses with liability insurance, because, well, quite frankly, who wants a bunch of guys running around with torches anymore? Because all you takes is setting one building aflame and jobs, your company's done. Also, we have far less chance of user error. All it takes is one installer trying to cut corners on a Friday to make warranty problems 3-4 years from now if they left carbon in the system. Using this much more consistent. Also, we don't have Venturi problems with these. So what I'm talking about is, let's say we have 10-15 fittings on a chain. We introduce nitrogen at our outdoor unit through the port, and we start brazing down the line. Well, if one of those fittings is misbrazed, and we've had this happen, you may create a little Venturi in that pocket or that leak point. Now, you're not going to discover the leak point until 30 minutes later once you're done brazing and you nitrogen test the whole system, and then you go, okay, I'll fix the leak. Well, what you've just done is this has a leak point over here on the line close to the machine, and now it's sucking in a little bit of oxygen down the line, and all of these fittings may have a little bit of carbon left behind. Not much, but enough that we may have problems down the line later. If you were to even cut that open, you're going to have a little carbon buildup. Just in general, pressing. It's faster. Labor is in tight supply right now, so this is a no-brainer. The faster you can install a job and move on to the next one, the better. So those are kind of cool. I don't know if there's any other entrants coming to the market. Are we going to stop at 3? Will there be 5 and just saturate the market with different jaw designs and tools? Again, I don't know. This is currently what we have, the 3 competing brands. What we also have that introduced into the market is Zoomlock Push, and ESB and Rector Seal have competing products for the push market, and this is much like a water piping shark bite fitting. You can use a depth gauge. They come with little depth indicators to make sure you've pushed in the pipe. Again, same pressing philosophy. You're going to clean the copper with the reamer and sandpaper. Make sure you have a clean edge. Insert your pipe, make your connection, and away you go. This is supposed to be the fastest, no tool required. The fitting is expensive compared to a press fitting, but there's no upfront cost. So any one of these tools are going to cost you somewhere in the $3,500 to $5,000 range right now. So it's a little bit of an upfront cost for a business that's starting up. For a larger established business, I don't see it too much of an issue. When you already have $20,000-$30,000 worth of tools on your truck, $3,500 isn't a big deal. Or a lot of companies are already going to do plumbing, and they're going to have a Milwaukee or a Rigid or a Clocky tool for plumbing anyway, and it's just an investment of the jaws. A lot of times the vendors here will have a promotion: buy 500 fittings, get jaws or a tool for free. Again, and you'll have to check around, ask your reps what kind of program they have. And feel free to ask us any questions. We have a lot of experience with pressing. We've been using the RLS system since 2015 here at Energy Technologies, and we love it. We also have the other 2 brands. Again, I don't have advanced life cycle testing of this guy. Also, because the jaw is heavier, our guys tend not to want to use it. And same with the Mueller. I just got the same feedback out in the field. This thing is just too heavy, so they're just using it on the ground. The one advantage to the, and that'll speak to the advantage of why it's being used, the Zoomlock Max. Zoomlock Max is a shorter fitting than the RLS and the Mueller. So when we need to braze on or stub off of an outdoor unit, sometimes the RLS doesn't fit. So they're using the Zoomlock Max on the outside condenser. So I see this as the manufacturers will eventually solve this problem and give us a longer stub to work with. This is on the 3/8 side, but when you're on the 7/8 or the 3/4 on the outdoor units, same issue. They don't give you much copper to work with, especially on the Ameristar, Lennox. The stub is very short. On Train American Standard, the stub tends to be long enough that an RLS fitting will work, and that's typically what the crews are using because the tool is lighter. Also, they trust the fitting. It takes a long time to get technicians to change their ways, and they've been using this. Same with, in my mindset, same thing. I've had this for 7 years. It hasn't failed on me yet. You still have to nitrogen test, and we still do every now and then get a fitting that fails. Usually it's within 30 days, and that's a bad press. And somehow it passed a leak check, but failed reasonably quickly later. And there's only a few of those per year, and that's going to be predominantly along all the brands. It seems like once it makes it over the 30-day mark, it's going the long haul. And that's more or less, I'm more on the impression that the O-ring got pushed back, or we got a little nick in it, so it passed the 600 psi pressure test, and then a few months later, a month later, it popped. Again, not a big deal, as you're going to have this on brazing. Our company's doing over 100 installs a year, so you could imagine it 10, 15 fittings a job, and on the mini split side, you could have 30, 40 fittings a job. It's not a big deal if we have a few leaks a year. It's just baked in that we're going to have to take care of these under warranty, and we do. We stand behind our product. So that's the marketable advantage to the Zoomlock Max or Connex Behringer fitting. It's very short. The Mueller fitting and the RLS fitting are about the same size here, so you're going to need more space on the copper. Now, usually this isn't a problem. The problem I'm already seeing with the Mueller ACR fitting, like I've mentioned earlier, shear size. This jaw is too big. So if anybody at Mueller is listening, or Milwaukee that made these jaws, you need to shrink the weight down. This jaw's too heavy. The technicians are not going to like this much weight up in the air, especially you're doing the overhead work, or you're up 30 feet on the side of the house on a ladder trying to press a outdoor unit together to get into the attic, like with an AC cut-in or a Mitsubishi mini split. You're trying to hook up the copper. You're 28, 30 feet on you want the lightest tool possible. Currently, that's going to be your RLS tool. I don't have the 19 kilonewton tool for the Maxi Pro, so I can't attest how light or heavy they are, but I imagine they're going to be somewhere in the same range as the 19 kilonewton tool is for the RLS tool. But when you're out there deciding what your company would like to purchase moving into this, is look at the factors of what are you going to use, what application you're going to use this for. So if you need larger sizes, go with the RLS. If you're worried about longevity or reliability is currently a concern, which is going to be a concern amongst a lot of brands. You don't want to be the guinea pig in RLS. I'm going to be the guinea pig for you over time. That's just what we're doing here, and we have a lot of experience with this, and I just like playing around with tools. And that's pretty much it. So when you're out there at the distributors, make decisions for your company. Look at all the brands. Talk to RLS. They have a lot of marketing folks or a lot of reps ready to help. Same with Zoomlock Max. Make your decision for you. But again, right now, if you're worried about longevity, RLS, if you need something that's shorter, you're doing a lot of short stub work off of condensers with the brands that you're using, you might want to look at the Maxi Pro Zoomlock Max fitting because it's a little bit shorter. That's down to the application. And that's pretty much it for right now. I'm going to wrap this up. I will have some additional follow-up videos. I just need the time to make them. But that's what we're going to do.